Welcome to another episode of 360 Sports. I'm your host, George Gain. We got Oscar joining us, Fernando, and Luke. I say we get the show on the road. Where else can we start except with the Champions League quarterfinals coming up tomorrow? It starts. We got 4 really intriguing matchups. I know my personal favorite, but Oscar, what is your favorite matchup and what are you looking forward to seeing?
I'll say my favorite matchup is Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. I think it's the most even matchup of the 4.
Yeah.
I think the other 3, they have pretty clear winners if you were to predict them.
Yeah.
And they're both top of their respective leagues. They've both made deep runs in the Champions League the last 2 seasons. Obviously, Inter went to the final 2 seasons ago, and Bayern was in the semi last year. So I think just there's star power on both sides, and I think they're both looking to get over the hump, make another deep run, and I'm excited for it.
For me, it's Arsenal, Real Madrid. Like, you look at both teams, there's a lot of firepower on both sides. I mean, Arsenal finally got Saka back. Real Madrid is Real Madrid for some reason. Both teams are coming off disappointing losses last week, so they're going to be extremely motivated tomorrow. So, I mean, to be honest, like, this has a potential of a final.
For sure. What do you got, Luke?
So I also have the Madrid-Arsenal game, and I think this will be the best game of the week, strictly because that Arsenal has the best low block I've seen this year in Europe, where Madrid has the best attacking talent we've seen all year in Europe. So if you combine those two, I think you'll get some fireworks going. Saka just coming back will be good for Arsenal. You know, they'll be able to have an attacking outlet, as well as I froze, but but no, I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm also looking forward to the Real Madrid matchup with Arsenal. I think this is a matter of 2 teams who, let's be honest, they got there in different ways. Real Madrid barely snuck by Atletico, took a penalty shootout, and then Arsenal has absolutely destroyed who they've played. They completely manhandled PSV. So I think Real Madrid's going to have to play their best soccer, which they did not do against Atletico. So I'm looking forward to that. I think we're going to see a vintage Mbappe performance. That's what I'm expecting to see. Maybe a Ballon d'Or performance, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. It should be a really good matchup. I think Barcelona-Dortmund should be good. Don't you guys think?
No, Barcelona's going to dominate.
I think
that
Barcelona.
match. Come on.
Dortmund, I will say, Dortmund is for some reason really good in the Champions League, but this year they've just been struggling so much, and they've gotten a lucky draw with Sporting, and then also they got Lille. So they're very, very fortunate they got to the quarterfinals, but their luck's going to end.
Yeah. I mean, I think Barcelona's obviously playing really good soccer, probably maybe the best team in the world right now, but I think, like you said, when Dortmund has like this Champions League experience, I think you can't count them out. So I'm interested to see how Dortmund comes out. Can they give Barcelona a fight? But moving on, we got the UEFA Nations League this summer. Quarterfinals just closed out not too long ago. We got Spain, Germany, Portugal, and France all moving on. We have some really intriguing matchups. France-Spain is going to be absolutely incredible. And we also have Portugal-Germany. Oscar, which matchup do you think is going to be more tightly contested?
I think France-Spain. I mean, they obviously just played in the Euro semifinals last summer. Spain came out with that win. I think Spain is going to win the Nations League as a whole. I think Spain is just controlling Europe right now. Obviously, they won the Euros, and I think they're just going to go for another trophy, go with everything they have. Obviously, Lamine Yamal, Pedri, all those Barcelona guys up there.
Yep.
I think Spain is just the best, second to Argentina, the best national team in the world right now. And as they ramp up to the World Cup, they're going to win this competition.
All right.
I'll be completely honest. I really don't have a favorite to win the Nations League right now because this is going to happen in June, and anything can happen from today to June. Anyone can get hurt. Mbappe can get hurt. Lamine Yamal can get hurt. So, to be honest, like we don't know what could happen.
But fully healthy, who do you have?
But if nothing happens and we are fully healthy, I do think Spain comes out in the end because they're the European champions. They are young. They have a lot of talent, and they're well coached. They're mentally tough as well. I do think the winner of Spain-France will be the one who wins the cup in the end because I just think those are the 2 best teams left in this cup. And then also, even though Germany and Portugal are really good teams, I just think Spain and France have edge in pedigree and experience.
For sure.
I think the depth that France has alone makes them the clear favorite. I know that they lost to Spain over the summer in the Euros. The depth that they have throughout their whole team, that if someone got hurt for France, they still have a quality player as the backup who would arguably start in any other country in the world. So that's why I think that France is going to edge out and end up winning everything this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think all 4 teams have really good chances. Germany looked really, really good against Italy. Obviously, they fell apart a little bit in the second leg, but they looked really good. They moved on. Portugal is very interesting because they have a lot of potential. And obviously, there's a lot of questions with Cristiano Ronaldo, whether or not he should be playing over a guy like Gonzalo Ramos. But which team here do you think has really the most wiggle room? Like, they could perform really well, or they could also be a really big letdown out of these final 4.
It's got to be Portugal.
Portugal.
Every single one of their players is either the best player in the world, I feel like, on their day, or the worst. Look at Rafa Leao.
Yeah.
He shows
man,
up.
I
He's
hate that
either
guy.
so
I hate
good
him.
or actually invisible. You
Yeah.
watch him in the Serie A, he plays a team like Lecce and looks like he shouldn't even be on the pitch with them.
Yeah.
So I just think that if they show up on their day, they're phenomenal. But most days they don't, and they're
Yeah.
not great.
And I'll say this: Germany and Portugal, in my opinion, got through teams that are and Italy and Denmark that are, in my opinion, low class countries. I don't think Italy's fallen down since they won the Euros
Yeah.
in 2021,
Yeah.
and Denmark, their golden generation is over. So I just feel like these are two teams that are like going up a little bit down. To be honest,
Italy hasn't been to World Cup since 2014.
Mm,
I mean,
true.
we like they have fallen down massively then.
yeah.
Going back to that Rafael Leao thing, because he has all the talent he has more talent than most players in the world, but it seems like he can never find the final ball in the box. He can never score the most important goals. And it's so frustrating because you see guys like Kylian Mbappe who have the pace like Rafael Leao does. They both have the skills.
Mhm.
But Mbappe takes advantage of that skill set that he has, and Leao doesn't. But I do think Portugal, if they play their best soccer, 100% can beat Germany. But I think if I was choosing right now, I have to go Spain. Obviously, they won the World Cup. They won the Euros, excuse me. They won the
Yeah.
I was
Euros.
about to say.
Whatever. I was going to shade Messi, but it's okay. They won the Euros. They played really well. But France, again, I think with Kylian Mbappe when he's playing for the French national team, he plays at a different level. That's not the sort of club level we see. But yeah, I'm really intrigued to see both matchups. We also saw a possible bombshell transfer. We saw Trent Alexander-Arnold possibly joining Real Madrid. How do you think that impacts Madrid? Does it really impact them at all? I mean, they already have such a stacked team. If this transfer is completed, does this really move the needle at all for Real Madrid?
Yes, if you can get Trent playing balls from their third of the field to the final third, like he does for Liverpool, it is a problem. If you can get him finding Mbappe in open space, forget about it.
Mhm.
Just give him next year's Champions League already.
Mhm.
I don't even want to watch at this point.
Well, we did say that about Real Madrid after they signed Mbappe, and look what's happening right now.
They're still the clear favorites to win the UCL, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I agree with that.
No, I
Who's-
think for me it's Barcelona.
I would say Barca too.
You think they have better odds than
I would.
Madrid right now?
Barca's dominated Madrid this whole year, and I
Yeah.
get it's the
Oh,
Champions
I
League.
agree. I
Yeah,
I
like
get it's the
Barca
Champions
more,
League,
but if when you come into the Champions League, Madrid always has clear favorites to win that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they have on
Yeah.
their team or what's going on. They're always the favorite.
There's a different Barcelona
This
team, though. There's a
Barcelona
different
team
feel
is
to it.
really good.
Yeah.
I agree,
I
but
think Barcelona's playing better ball right now, right? And that's what it takes. You see in almost every professional sport, when it comes to the most important games, it's who's playing better in that day. I think Real Madrid obviously has the potential to beat Barca, right? But they've been blown out every time they've matched up with Barcelona. So Real Madrid's going to have some work to do. But if is this a bad year for Real Madrid if they don't win the Champions League? Like even if they get to the finals and they don't win it, is this still a failure of a season?
If they don't win La Liga, I'd say it is.
they're not going to win
Yeah.
the league.
Then they're not,
Gonna
yeah.
win- they're gonna win
Barca's
the Liga.
running with
Yeah,
it.
Barca's gonna win that, and then
you don't give
They-
Madrid any chance to win. La
Ancelotti
Liga.
is sacked if they don't win the Champions League this year. I'll put
I
that down
wouldn't
now.
say that.
I
I
would not,
wouldn't go that far.
if
I
they
don't
don't
agree
win a
with that.
title, I could see
Yeah,
that
they don't
happen.
win anything.
Well,
I
they're,
could see
well,
that
they're not going to
happen.
win La Liga. I am 100% positive in that at this point.
Mhm.
Champions League is their only chance to really get a title now. I guess
And then the
Copa
Copa
del
del
Rey.
Rey,
it's
which
not
is
the Copa del Rey.
Still,
man.
I mean,
it's a,
If Barca wins, the trouble's on for them.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say the same for Madrid. But
going back to Trent Alexander-Arnold, I'll be honest, I'm not surprised if this becomes eventually official because it's been rumored for a long time. But I'll say this, I'm kind of confused about this, to be honest, if I'm in the Madrid side, because you still have Danny Carvajal. I understand he's getting old. I
yeah,
understand he's
getting
coming
older.
back from an ACL injury,
Yeah.
but I just don't see him as a bench player. So I just think that like you can replace him right now. But as for the Liverpool side, it's a huge loss, but I do think they'll find a way to replace him. And
Do you think that they move Trent into the midfield almost as a new Modric kind of area?
mm,
Because that's where they play. He played a little bit in the Euros over the summer, right? He can play a deep lying kind of number 8, 10 back a little more than that.
he's more of
6.
a right back. I
But he
just
can't
don't.
defend. I mean, have you watched him try and defend? He can't. Like he's easily the worst defender on that team.
I think it's hard for him right now because you want to get him playing good soccer. And if you're changing his position before he even gets back to playing
Yeah.
like the Trent Alexander-Arnold we know he can be, I think that's going to cause problems. I think you have to put him in his natural position and hope that he finds his rhythm, his form, and then maybe you can kind of, if you want to explore putting him in other spots. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah. One thing I'll say is keep an eye out on Jeremy Frimpong from Bayer
Yeah.
Leverkusen.
That's,
I
He
still have the
has
exact same thing.
a low release clause. If I'm Liverpool, I'm putting my money to get this guy.
you think he's
40
worth
mil.
at least 50? I thought it was 50 million euros.
I saw 40 million. Yeah.
But do you think that they're going to be the only team who are willing to pay that much for him?
I
there are
don't,
gonna be a
I don't
couple
think, I
teams
don't
that
think
will.
so. But if I'm Liverpool, I'm good.
triggering that.
I'm triggering
But-
exactly.
Connor Bradley, their backup they have already, is in the academy. They brought him. He's a scouser. Like he's been with them his whole life. Do you really think they're just going to move on from Connor Bradley like that?
No, but this is a Liverpool team that is going to win the Premier League, and after winning the Premier League, you feel like you have to go all in to win now more trophies.
I agree with that.
Well, first they have to sign Salah and Van Dijk. Then that's what they have to worry
Obviously.
about first.
But that's actually maybe why it's a good thing that Alexander-Arnold is leaving, because now you don't have to pay money to keep
Yep.
this guy.
True.
That's true. Well, real quick, who's your pick to win the Champions League? Real quick, who do you got?
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
I as well, Barcelona.
I'm gonna go Real Madrid, not just to be different, but because I genuinely think Real Madrid can win it all. But you guys all say Barcelona. A major reason why they're playing this well is because of a guy named Rafinha, and I'm interested to see if anyone will pick him in our next segment, which is who we have winning the Ballon d'Or this season. Luke, you're up first.
All right, I'll lead us off. All right, my pick this year to win the Ballon d'Or is easily Lamine Yamal. He is what makes the game tick for Barcelona. He has missed one game this season in the league, and they've lost it. Every other game he's either drawn or won. He has 32 goal contributions this year. As a 17-year-old, is unheard of. He is the best player on the team. Every time he's on the field, they control the pace of play. They know what's going on, and he can feed Lewandowski and Rafinha like no problem. That's why he's my pick for the Ballon d'Or.
That's a good pick. I really do like it. I mean, his impact is amazing. I remember this kid when he was 15 years old 2 years ago, and he set foot on that pitch for the Camp Nou, and I just knew that kid was special from the beginning.
He controls the entire pace of play for this Barcelona team. I mean, everything moves through him. He gets the ball up and down the pitch. It's unbelievable to watch.
What's incredible about Lamine Yamal, I think he's still 17. Is that what he is?
Yes, he
Yeah.
turned 17 the day before they beat England in the Euros.
Yeah.
this
So
summer.
what's incredible about this is you're talking about guys like Ronaldo who scored 900 plus goals. Lamine Yamal, starting this young in his career, has a chance to break a ton of records if he
Yeah.
stays healthy, obviously. But playing at this level, he already has a Euros under his belt. They're going to be one of the favorites in the World Cup. And if he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or this year, he's going to win it at some point.
No, definitely.
So I think he's on pace to have one of the greatest careers in soccer history.
Yeah, even
So-
better. I could see him having a better career than Ronaldo and even Messi. to be
100%.
honest.
Whoa,
100%.
Let's
Well,
relax
I mean,
a little
consider
bit,
his
boys.
age. I mean, he's 17 years old, right? Messi and Ronaldo didn't even start this young, and he already has a Euros in his teens, which is unheard of.
Mhm.
And he was, let's be honest, probably the reason why they won. So I think Lamine Yamal is.
I think
Gonna
he
go down
just
as
needs to
an
rest a
all-time great.
little more. He's already played 3,400 minutes this year alone.
Yeah.
And we're not done with the season. I think they need to realize that he's still young. They have to rest him a little bit more, and then they'll be able to go.
Yeah.
That's fair. Fernando, who do you have? Oh, sorry, Oscar, you're up next. My fault.
All right. My pick for the Ballon d'Or winner is Harry Kane. Some people might not agree with Harry Kane, but he's led Bayern Munich this season. He is the heart and soul of that team. He has 34 goals and 12 assists in all competitions. He has Bayern top of the Bundesliga, has them in the Champions League quarterfinals. Bayern just thrashed Leverkusen on aggregate 5-0 in the Champions League round of 16. He scored 3 of their goals. He extended his lead at England's all-time top leading goal scorer list by 18, 2 goals in the recent World Cup qualification window. And I think he's the most well-rounded striker in football right now. And I don't know if he can bring home some hardware, if he can maybe win the Bundesliga and the Champions League. I say the Champions League is a little far-fetched for Bayern right now, but the Bundesliga is definitely in play. They're up 6 points with 6 games left. If he can win some trophies, I think he has as good of a shot as anyone to bring home the Ballon d'Or too.
I'll say this is a sneaky sleeper for the Ballon d'Or. I mean, Harry Kane has been playing out of his mind since Vincent Kompany came to the team.
I mean, he's been playing out of his mind, but let's be honest, his chances of winning this award, I'd say, are pretty close to zero. It's like that year where there was Ronaldo and Messi and Frank Ribery, and he's still salty this day he didn't win it. But again, like if he gets into that top 3, he's not. Like there's just too many other players who are playing like at a high level for him to win this award.
He had better stats at this point last season than he does now, right? And the last season would have been his year to win it. He had 60 goals, I want to say, in the year. I can't imagine there was a way they give it to him.
There's too many good players. Like in a down year, and he's playing incredible, maybe. I mean, I also don't like Harry Kane very much.
What if Bayern wins the Champions League?
See, now you have
That's
if they win the
different.
Champions
That's
League,
different.
win Bundesliga. Are they still in the DFB pokals?
No,
they're not
Okay.
bound.
So if they can win the double like that,
Yeah.
all
But
right,
that's how
then we
you-
can start
yeah,
talking.
But
yeah.
Ty, that's how you get in the conversation, right? You get a trophy like the Champions League with a team that you don't think is supposed to win it, right? If they can do that, then he gets the conversation. But I still think he's going to end up falling short. But we'll find out. Fernando, who do you have winning the Ballon d'Or?
Well, Luke, my guy is on Barcelona. I did not choose Lamine Yamal. I actually went the other route. I chose Rafinha. I want to talk about how awesome this guy has been. He during the summer he was he was linked to leave Barcelona because Barcelona wanted to replace him with Nico Williams. It didn't end up happening, but this guy came back to the team with a vengeance. I mean, he has made impact for this team from the beginning of the season. He's either assisting or goals. He's the top goal scorer in the Champions League right now. He has about 47 goals and assists combined in 44 games in all competitions. Barcelona already won the Supercopa. They're going to probably win La Liga. They might win the Champions League, and they might win the Copa del Rey. If they end up winning all those trophies, Rafinha is going to win the Ballon d'Or.
I think if I was going to choose a favorite, or at least co-favorite, he's definitely going to be
Yeah,
up there.
I'd say-
I agree with you there.
He's been incredible.
That's bet my money on it. It's going to be Rafinha, especially if Barca wins all those trophies.
Yeah.
Because he'd be the best player on the best team in the world.
But I don't think Barcelona was going to get this version of Rafinha before the season
Yeah,
started.
I didn't.
No,
say
I
that.
which is-
I mentioned it before, like he was so close to leaving because Barcelona wanted to replace him with Nico Williams, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's bad. I completely understand Barcelona for doing that because he wasn't performing before this year, and I thought Nico Williams in the Euros was amazing, and it was very valid for Barcelona to go all in to get this guy, but it didn't happen because they're cash poor, and at the end of the day, it paid off dividends not to go get him because he's been amazing.
Who's Barcelona's most important player to win La Liga and Champions League? Is it Rafinha or is it Lamine Yamal?
I mean, for me, it's Lamine Yamal, and that's why I picked him for my Ballon d'Or favorite. I mean, they haven't lost when he's on the field.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost a game this season for club or country, Lamine Yamal. And when you watch a game, he's what makes that team tick, in my personal opinion.
I'd say Lamine Yamal too.
I would say Lamine Yamal just because he just make impact for that Barcelona team incredibly. He makes things look so simple. And
Yeah.
if you've seen Lamine Yamal off the field for Barcelona, and things are downhill for Barcelona. But when Rafinha off the field, they still make impact.
I mean, I think Yamal is the heart of this team, and he will be for a long time. But I think without Rafinha's play this season, they're not even. I mean, they probably are sniffing winning La Liga, but they're probably not where they are. So had an incredible year.
Yeah.
But if you know me, you know who I was picking, and it's the greatest player in the world right now, and his name is Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe has been incredible this season. He's been incredible every season. He just simply does things that a lot of players can't do. We talked about Leao. There's a whole bunch of players in the world with his skill set and his ability, but he takes advantage of what he has. And we saw it when he scored the hat-trick against Manchester City back in February. He welcomed himself nicely to Real Madrid, even though he got off to a slow start. But he is the key for this team. If he plays at a really high level and wins Champions League, if they can pull off a comeback in La Liga and win that, then I think it's going to be his, and he's going to get his first Ballon d'Or.
I will say that Mbappe has gotten better as the year goes on with Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
But you watch that Atletico Madrid round of 16, 2 legs. Where was Mbappe? I didn't see him in the field. He didn't make any impact.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they got lucky to go through that round because of a penalty shootout.
I mean, Atletico Madrid's a good team. Like, I don't want to take anything away from them, right? I mean, that's part of the reason why Real Madrid, obviously they had plenty of chances. They should have scored. But again, like, you're not going to score every game. And when you go to a team like Real Madrid, right, his idol is Cristiano Ronaldo. You're playing there. This is one of the most iconic clubs in the world. I think everyone could have seen a slow start coming. It's hard to kind of get yourself into a new team after you've been with PSG for so long and, find your spot. But I think right now, the way he's playing, if he can perform, I think the Champions League is huge. We all have guys who, if they win the Champions League, if they win their leagues, they can propel themselves to the top of the race. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be a really tight race to the end.
Yeah, it will be.
I think he's having a phenomenal season as well,
Yeah.
but he doesn't do it. Like, he's not like the Mohamed Salahs or the Rafinhas or the Lamine Yamals.
Or even a Harry Kane.
Or even the Harry Kanes. He just doesn't. He's not like that, like compared to them, I'd say, right? At least this season. This season,
Yeah.
yes,
This season.
for sure.
I'm taking a down Kylian Mbappe over tip-top shape Harry Kane. That's just my opinion. I mean,
You're underestimating Harry Kane.
Yeah. See, that's too much hate on Harry.
Look,
now.
I understand that Harry Kane played with Tottenham, and you can say all you want about that, but when you go to a team like Bayern, he's lived up to that hype and momentum.
I'm just saying, when I play FIFA, Harry Kane's too slow, and I can never be my last defender and score. So Harry Kane, you're frustrating me. FIFA needs to increase his speed.
Take him off the show.
Maybe I'll
Take
be
him off.
maybe I'll be a little bit nicer to Harry Kane.
No.
But moving on, we have a this or that segment. We're going to be asked a question, and we're going to have two options. We have to figure out which option is correct. So let's go. Which player had the higher FIFA 17 Ultimate Team rating?
So Suarez was still on Barcelona.
Barca.
Where was Ibra? Ibra was at PSG, right? In 17?
Wasn't he on LA at Galaxy?
No, I don't think so,
He
not
went
yet.
to Galaxy in 2018.
Okay. PSG then. Oh wait, no, Man U. He was on.
He
Man
was
U.
on
Man
Man
U,
U.
Man
Wait,
U.
did he leave LAFC to go to Man U, or was he?
No.
No,
the
he
other
left
route.
Man U and went to the Galaxy.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So and because
I feel like
It's still got to be
I feel like it's Suarez.
Suarez,
It
it has to
yeah.
be
It
Suarez.
has
He
to
was
be.
still in his prime days with
Yeah.
It has to be.
Barcelona.
17. Yeah.
We're going to go Suarez. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nailed it.
That makes sense. I feel like that was a
Yeah.
little bit more obvious. I'm like,
Yeah.
we could have been fooled, but no,
Yeah.
we're good. What do we have next? Which player has scored more goals all time in the Premier League?
It's Kane.
Ooh, I think
Kane's
it is.
I think it is Kane.
I think
Kane's
it is
second in the
Kane.
Prem.
I love Wayne Rooney. But I think
I
it
just
is
saw
Harry
Wayne
Kane.
Rooney TikTok edit today. It was fire.
Yeah.
Listen,
Kane's second in the Prem.
He's
though.
one of
I
the
know.
goats
I
of the Premier
almost
League,
100%
so-
positive.
This is where we talk about how good Harry Kane is. Like,
Yeah, like
It-
second
it-
top all scorer
to
all
be
time.
the top, to be the all-time, to score more goals.
Well, let's
than
just make
Rooney.
sure we're right first.
I mean,
We
I
gotta-
will say,
let's get our answer.
with his lack of pace, to be able to score as many goals as he has, I respect that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's because he's like almost 38 now. Like
No?
Yeah,
34.
Well, no,
30.
no.
He's only 34.
But even when he
I'm
was
sorry,
younger, I feel
34.
like he didn't have
Oh,
much
wow.
pace. But we'll go Harry Kane.
Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, two
he's-
for two.
He's second. I knew that almost for sure.
Cooking.
We're cooking.
Yeah.
We're cooking. All right, let's see if we can go 3 for 3. Which player has won more La Liga titles?
Oh.
I think it's
Ooh.
Umtiti. I don't recall
think
Isco
it's
winning that.
Umtiti.
I don't recall Isco winning
Well,
that many.
Oh, man.
Madrid's not exactly a La Liga title merchant, unlike where Umtiti, who played for Barcelona, they
Yeah.
won a
Yeah,
couple
Barca
titles.
won a lot. In the
Yeah.
I think it is
mid
Umtiti.
to late.
Yeah.
I think it's
2010s.
Umtiti.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'd say
because Barcelona will win the Ligas, but Real Madrid will end up winning the
Yeah.
bigger cup, which is the Champions League. Sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say sadly. Well, I love Madrid, but yeah, we'll go
Oh.
Umtiti.
bro.
Glaze.
Ooh.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
Oh man, there goes our perfect
Wow.
score.
That
How
was-
could I ever go against Real Madrid? That's my fault. I apologize. That's my fault. I should have gone with my my guys. But all
Wow.
right, let's see if we can get 75% here. Which player has won a Ballon d'Or?
Kaká.
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 Kaká won the Ballon d'Or.
Henry's never
Yeah.
won one.
He's
Yeah.
the only one who won it in the prime years of Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
If I recall.
Which is
no,
in a-
he won it before the.
He won
Premiers.
early
He won it his year on
2000s. AC Milan.
Milan. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like 06, 07.
04, 05.
07?
Something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
want
It
to
was
say
like
it's
the
around that.
starting years of where like
Yeah.
they were really
Yeah.
trying to come
Yeah,
up. but-
Kaká though.
Yeah.
It was
sure.
Kaká, yeah.
Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah.
Remember when he played in
And
Orlando?
the Real Madrid
Yeah.
goat.
Remember when he played in Orlando?
Yeah.
Dude, Kaká's just a magician,
Another Madrid
bro.
goat.
Yeah,
Another
he's
Madrid
really
goat.
good.
Well, except he didn't play very well for Madrid.
Well, listen, I don't care. When you get a good player, he becomes a Madrid goat. That's how that works.
Sure.
Yeah.
But moving on, we have a segment called Without the Goats. We have the 2026 World Cup coming up soon. Messi and Ronaldo, we just don't know for sure whether or not they're going to be there. Ronaldo's going to be 41 or 42 by the time the World Cup starts. He's still playing really good soccer, I just want to say. Messi, obviously, is still playing really well in the MLS. Both players are not in the top leagues in the world. Let's just get that out of the way. But I want to ask, because this has been a debate that a lot of people have been having, which team can advance further? Argentina without Messi or Portugal without Ronaldo? Oscar, we'll start with you.
Argentina easily. To me, it's not a debate.
I agree.
Argentina, even without Messi, Julian Alvarez, Alexis McAllister, that's just like two guys off the
Lautaro
top of my
Martinez,
head.
bro.
Yeah, Lautaro, dude. Argentina won the World Cup. Obviously, Messi played a huge role,
For
but
sure.
I forgot where Portugal got into the World Cup.
They got knocked out by Morocco.
Yeah.
Before we move on, can we just say, Fernando Santos, if you're watching, what were you doing? You broke my heart benching Ronaldo. I mean, seriously, like, you robbed the world. But
Well, he got
anyways,
benched against
Yeah, I
Switzerland.
mean, if you think about it, whenever Messi's in the Argentina squad, he doesn't get subbed out too much. But like Ronaldo, I mean,
Argentina just beat Brazil 4-1.
exactly.
Without
Messi.
Messi.
Without
Messi,
Messi. That's
yeah.
all you got to say, really.
They're
I
stacked.
know Brazil's not exactly at where they've
Like,
been the last
yeah,
couple years, but to sit down and say they don't have phenomenal amounts of talent is undeniable. Like,
Yeah.
they have great talent on that team.
You agree with that, Fernando?
First of all, I'll say this. Fernando Santos did the right thing that day.
He's right.
Because how are you going to bench Gramos, who was coming up a hat trick in the
Yeah.
round 16 World
Come on.
Cup game,
So-
over Ronaldo, who was just playing god awful in that World Cup, and his only goal came from a penalty kick.
Okay, so have we not watched in the last World Cup and the Euros players like Mbappe, other players, Harry Kane, like the top players in the world not perform for their countries?
Harry Kane performed
So-
in the Euros.
Yeah, go-
He
It's
was
just because
okay.
he got subbed out in the final.
He was
that you're
okay.
saying
He was
that.
okay, but they're not playing like top level that we expect them to play. But when Ronaldo doesn't play well, I feel like it's a different lens. That's
well,
all I'm saying.
I mean, there's a difference between how Ronaldo's been playing compared to what Harry Kane has been
well, no,
playing.
100%.
And-
Harry Kane's younger. I mean, you're expecting Harry Kane to play better. But
I was saying, it's definitely Argentina. I mean, Oscar mentioned it.
Yeah.
Like Julian Alvarez, Lautaro Martinez, Emiliano Martinez. There's so much talent on that field without Messi. Even you can even say Messi wasn't at his best in the Copa America, and yet they still
they
won.
still
He got hurt in the
Yeah,
final.
he got hurt
He
in
got
the
hurt in the
final, and
final.
they still won.
Yeah.
And
And
now, I will say though, as we were talking about Portugal earlier, is if they show up, they have talent on the team.
100%.
Rafa Leao. I mean, they have Bruno Fernandes, who Madrid wants. Madrid is willing to pay 90 million for
I don't think that's going to
Bruno.
happen.
He's not going to leave
But
Man U. But
I can't even talk about Leao anymore, and that's part of the problem, right? Because if Portugal had a Rafa Leao who's playing let's be honest, the way he should be playing, then it's a different conversation. But their attack without Ronaldo is a problem, right? They have Neto, he's good. Gonzalo Ramos, again, you want to talk about him scoring a hat trick, fantastic. Other players have had their moments, but on a game-to-game basis, I don't think you can say Gonzalo Ramos should start over Cristiano Ronaldo.
at this point in their careers, yes, I think they definitely can.
But Ramos doesn't perform on his team right now. Is he still on PSG?
yeah.
yes,
He doesn't even start some of their
Yeah, he
games.
doesn't start.
Yeah, but
So-
Ronaldo realistically is a phenomenal super sub that you can have nowadays.
Yeah.
He should be coming in the last 25 minutes of a game to make a difference, to make a change.
I'll say this: if I'm Portugal, you have to be done with Ronaldo. His
Oh.
days are
That's
over.
Before the
See,
2026 World
No.
Cup?
Yes.
I
That
think
He's
would
a
totally
liability.
kill them.
Yeah, he is a
He's-
liability for that team.
for me, he's a super sub nowadays. I think if you can bring him on the last 15, 20 minutes where he can just give it his all, and he's still one of the best players of all time, right?
Yeah.
That's undeniable.
100%.
But do you really see a Ronaldo being okay on the bench?
Well, it's either he is okay with that or he doesn't come.
So,
That's the
So,
point.
see, I disagree.
That's the thing. I just don't see him being okay being on the bench.
I mean,
But
what
that-
about in the Euro 2016 final where he basically, he got hurt, so he had to be on the bench, but you saw him coach from the bench like that. Like
But-
being a player like that, you can coach from the bench and come on and still help you win the game. I think would be phenomenal for Portugal.
but you don't see a scenario where he comes on, he starts, he plays about 65 minutes, 70 minutes, and then you bring on a Gonzalo Ramos
I
fresh
don't-
legs. I think that might be just as effective.
No,
and then
no,
you
no,
have,
I don't think he
I'd
can
rather
make it
take
65,
Ronaldo
70.
for the 25.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think he's
he's-
making it
yeah, I
65,
agree.
70.
I don't know.
He's in his 40s. Like
He's going to be
you're asking-
42.
So,
like,
okay, so this is the question I'm gonna ask because when he got benched in the World Cup, I mean, a lot of people were talking about it, and my question was, okay, if you start Gonzalo Ramos in the World Cup final, or Ronaldo, who are you going to start in that final? Who are you going to start? Who do you think gives you the best chance to win?
like what I've been saying is, especially because the World Cup final could most likely go to extra time, you start Gonzalo Ramos, and then you bring, especially depending on what's going on in the World Cup finals, it plays a whole different thing. But you bring Ronaldo on for the last 25 minutes and hope he can make a difference.
This is a big what if. Like
Yeah,
if
there's a
Ronaldo-
lot.
Yeah.
Like because
Portugal's not making the
yeah,
World Cup
Portugal
final.
probably doesn't even make it to the
Who-
World
who
Cup
has a better
final.
chance?
France beats them.
Argentina
Let's
without
say Argentina
Messi.
has a better chance. No, let's just have them. Let's say they both play.
Okay.
Who has the better chance of getting in the final or winning it all?
Argentina.
Argentina.
Like,
not even
without
close.
a
Even
doubt.
Portugal in their best form.
Yes.
Yeah, because Argentina, you
I
never,
agree with that.
I agree with
Argentina has
that. I
so
agree with
much.
you never have to worry with Argentina.
I agree
Are
with that.
they
You
going
also-
to show up today? Argentina's going to
No,
show up.
100%. And I
Also,
think
the core of that
yeah.
Argentina team all play together.
Yeah,
100%.
At Atleti,
Yeah.
though,
And
at Atletico Madrid, they all play together. They know how to play
Yeah,
with each other. And
exactly.
I watched the Brazil-Argentina game,
Yeah.
you could see that they knew where every player was going to be. They knew how to pass it to each other. They're on the same wavelength.
They're
Well, and
better
they're-
well
yeah.
coached. They're better coached.
Scaloni's an
Leandro
amazing
Scaloni's a
manager.
phenomenal-
Scaloni's amazing.
you know, and they're really riding a good wave right now. They won the World Cup, they won Copa America, and now they have a chance.
They
to win
already
the World Cup
qualified
again,
for the World
right?
Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think Argentina. I agree with that. I do think they're more dangerous. But Portugal has, I think, more potential. If Portugal can play their best soccer, if they can play their best soccer, they can be competitive 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, but if everyone plays their best soccer,
How
they
many
can
players
also
can
be
you name on
competitive.
Portugal? Like realistically,
But
who do
not
we got
everyone-
on Portugal? We have Leao if he plays well, okay. Bruno Fernandes
I
if he
think the
played.
midfield, Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes.
Vitinha's really good. I'll
Vitinha's
give you
getting
that.
better.
Yeah,
He's getting
I-
better.
I-
I don't think he's
Vitinha
there
is really
yet.
important.
I wouldn't pick Vitinha over DePaul yet.
I
would've
I would take the palm.
I take
Thank
the
you,
ball
yeah.
just because I've seen him perform on the highest level. I've seen him play in international
But I
tournaments.
do think Vitinha will get better. Will become a better player than Rodrigo de Paul at some point. But there's still more firepower from Argentina than there is from
Yeah.
Portugal. I do think we'll see
Yeah.
both these players in the World Cup because I think Ronaldo does one last chance,
I
and I
hope
do
so.
think Messi will be, especially since the World Cup is in the United States. I just don't see him
Why
missing
not?
because it's in his backyard
Yeah,
pretty
why not?
much.
Why not?
Like, why would you miss that
Yeah,
World
for sure.
Cup? So I just
And
don't.
he knows he can play limited amount of time for Argentina and still have a good chance of winning it.
And
I would say.
also, like Messi is a humble guy. He knows what it takes to win. So
Yeah.
he would be that guy to be okay being on the sub.
100%.
Coming
I think
off the
more
bench,
willing
yes.
than Ronaldo. But let's
Without a doubt.
listen. Let's hope that we get to see both these goats in this country playing in the World Cup. Maybe we'll see a World Cup final between the two for the first time ever. But we want to thank you for tuning in to 360 Sports, and we hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time.